welcome back to GyrlSense. My name is Maria del Carmen, your host. Today's special guest is Karla Medina. Karla is a 20-year veteran retired police sergeant of the Hartford Police Department. She is considered an expert in gang violence. Karla pioneered the PAL division, which blossomed into serving over hundreds of city youths. She had 3 terms as the president of the Connecticut Association of Women. She has a bachelor's degree in business management and a master's degree in public health. Today, Karla is an entrepreneur, founder of Sudor Taino Group Fitness. Karla, thank you so much for agreeing to come on my show, and most of all, thank you for joining the GyrlSense family.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
So you were born in Hartford, raised in Hartford as well, in a single-parent household.
Yes.
Correct. Now, this was during the midst of, as described, the notorious gang wars era of Hartford.
Yes.
However, you beat the odds. You excelled in sports, you excelled in academics, and you have college degrees. Okay?
Stop it.
So was your parent your mentor? Or where did you find that inner courage as a young Latina in Hartford that overcame those barriers, whether those barriers were within the household, but certainly outside the household?
Yes, so I believe the word mentors wasn't really prominent back then. So I think we were looking for mentorship, but not really saying the word. My mother was a single parent, like we talked about, and she had 2 jobs. So I believe her work ethic and tenacity was mentoring me in a sort of kind of way. And then I just looked for things that drew me out of the household because she didn't let me leave the house.
Right.
So it was either be out in the sports, be out in school, or be home. So I don't think I was out seeking mentors, but I believe that I picked them up along the way. It was a personal choice. So I believe where people focus on the lack of opportunity, they don't put the emphasis on the individual choice. And I believe in a group of us that grew up together, some of us were successful, some of us weren't. And when you look at what the difference is, we all had the same lack of opportunity, but we made individual choices. So I think the responsibility of individual choice and choosing and selecting mentors or being under an advocate or sponsor are truly important.
Is it fair to say that as you witness possibly some of your friends not making poor choices, then gave you a different sense? Okay, now that's what happens if I had chosen that path.
Right.
So did that steer you away?
Sure.
Into the correct path?
Sure.
Because sometimes it works in the favor of a disadvantage where it lures you.
Yes. So I feel that it kind of almost marks your path. So, whereas they choose that right before you were probably going to choose it, you say, oh, that's not the outcome that I want for myself. So in essence, yes and no, because the other thing was I knew I wanted more. And down deep inside, it was more that I wanted more for myself than I saw in my surroundings. And, I kept saying, there's got to be more, there's got to be more. Sure. So that's where I was always striving, almost chasing the person I wanted to be.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. Chasing the person I wanted to be.
Yes.
It's just this figure of imagination, but it's you. It's like you're out of you.
Yes.
Right? I love that. Now, within your encounters with today's youths, particularly young girls, do you find that they have that same inner sense of bravery that you had when you were a young child, or the lack of? Or do you find that their sense of bravery has actually doubled?
Doubled, no. But I can say this. I can say they do have drive. Okay. It's just not for the long term. It's more the now. It's more, like I call it, keeping up with the Kardashians. And where you're saying, hey, let's throw in a long-term goal. Let's get you out of high school. Let's go to college. It's almost like because of the world we live in where it's so instant gratification, they cannot focus on that long-term goal. So I would say their drive is there. It's just misplaced in today's culture.
Okay. And can you think of a time or a one encounter where perhaps you pulled a young individual out of or steered them in the right direction, in what we perceive as the right direction?
Well, I believe that it's almost like saying, I got into sports because I wanted to be healthy and fit. That's not why I got into sports. I got into sports to get out of my home. But it's not in our culture to be healthy and fit. So if you're not taught, you don't make those connections. And I think that some of these kids need to be sit and told, and some are not going to hear it. I mean, it is what it is as far as, which kids you reach and which kids you don't. But I recall being a detective in the gang unit and interviewing someone for a couple hours and hearing what they had to say. And I said, has anybody ever told you that you have purpose, that you have an authentic purpose, that not necessarily what people are telling you is what you are, but you have to give yourself a chance to find out who you are. So, and that particular kid, he turned himself around. And I'm not saying it was because of my talk, but I can say that had something to do with the spark.
And I think it's also a fair statement to say that there are many of those individual young youths that because of your words or because of your watchful eye, whether you know it or not, has also turned around, and you don't even know. It could have not been that particular day, but perhaps, years later. So that's why it's always important to be on cue all the time, because in most cases I feel that these youths are seeking.
They are.
They're seeking, like, tell me what to do, like, what do I should do, so many of their I think reactions or their poor choices is for attention.
So while we're holding them accountable to being responsible and making responsible choices, we as adults have to be responsible to lead by example.
Exactly.
So if we're inconsistent, so will their choices be.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Now, speaking about youths, you have volunteered on many levels, reaching out, providing services for adults and children.
Yes.
Via different workshops, numerous workshops.
Yes.
But I want to scale back and I want to really focus on two of those workshops that you provide. One being body image and the other self-motivation. And I picked those two out of the several laundry lists that you have because it's two that they're here to stay. It's just always the top of the conversation. I think it doesn't discriminate age. It doesn't discriminate gender. So body image and self-motivations. Tell me more about what types of services, who were your audience, and how did you conduct these services?
So I get hired to do conferences or workshops, and sometimes, they hire me for leadership training. But whereas you can pick out two, when I go in, I feel the energy of who I'm serving. And in my best effort to be altruistic in the way I'm serving them, I say, body image is needed here, leadership with a sprinkle of this. So where I'm hired for one thing, I can actually bring all of those to the table. As far as self-motivation, I basically give them little tools here and there that I've used that have worked for me. The way you show up and, fake it till you make it. There's so many things that you can tell them, but it's the application. So I show up, the first thing I always do in all of my workshops is I say, what's your first impression of me? So that's always interesting because you get a lot of different things. But, they say stern. One of them says, compassionate. So how can I be stern and compassionate in the same room? That means I'm showing up exactly the way I want to, because my life experience has brought me to the point where I'm showing up exactly who I want to be and who I want to be perceived as. So that's almost where the underlying purpose of all those workshops is to get people to get in touch with that part of them. And whether it's through a workout, whether it's through a workshop, a lecture, it doesn't matter. All encompassing, meaning that it's to bring out that inner peace inside of them that is who they are, that is covered up by the daily stresses, by getting pulled in this direction and all these different things.
Okay. Your information will definitely be available on my website, where people can link to your website as well. But tell me a little bit, as far as you said you're hired by companies. So is this an active consulting work that you are still actively doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I, I may get called to do a field day of 400 people.
Okay.
So we'll do body movement, but I'm talking to them all the time, making those positive deposits into them. Okay. So they don't even know it. They're like, ha ha, we're having fun. We're doing a team building thing. Right. I do groups as small as 15, groups the size of 400. Whether it's with kids, we'll do like a cultural event. We'll encompass tribal dancing and things like that. But I'm talking to them. Sure. So
it's
my fitness,
having fun. Really,
yes.
right?
So my fitness is my. That's my train into the mind, so that I can get there. They're here doing this, and by the time they realize it, they're self-motivated.
Sure. And so tell me about, what have you picked up when you kind of touched on it a little earlier, when you are scanning the room, whether right from the beginning you spot them, but the individuals who either voluntarily choose to take your class, or as I say, voluntold.
Yes, voluntold.
You're voluntold
Yes.
or voluntary,
Yes.
Sign up for your class. Tell me the age and your experience, or that, as far as, where are the self-esteem in a rubric? So whether it's within the youths, is there any difference? Middle age, is there any difference? So where's the set? Because this is why I picked these two topics:
right.
Body image, self-motivation. I don't know where we're just so saturated. So I'm curious to know, just on a day-to-day basis. I may know this answer, but I don't want to really assume.
Right.
But as an instructor going in your professional lenses, what do you pick up? Are people really that their self-esteem that low?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is. And what I'll tell you this, in the age groups, I find nothing different. You're either consumed by your issues or the world's issues, trying to be closer to the world than you are and who you need to be in this world. But you're consumed by what the world is, the culture, the fashion, and not that we don't want to be fashionistas, but it's more trying to fit in instead of letting the world fit into you, and trying to mold yourself accordingly to just come out being the most authentic person that you can be. So when I'm scanning the room, I immediately make eye contact with some people who are gonna take this workshop, and it's going to just send that rushing energy into them, and they're going to be amazing. They're going to be set on fire. Not literally. And then there's the people who are complete wall. And then there's people that are somewhere in the middle. And I always have this joke I put up: you're either gonna love me, you're gonna hate me, or you're gonna be like, what just happened? So and I'll take all of them, because at the end of the day, again, I'm just trying to put that seed so that to get you to think about who you really want to be. I always do a tombstone legacy. What do you want to be on your tombstone? And they're like, whoa. I hit myself again. But they're like, whoa, I never thought of that. And you're here now, but we're just a vapor. We're here for a time, and then we're gone. It's like my 20 years in the police department. They're like, Karla who? At this point. So we're moving on to different things, but it's across the board that the struggle is real. Whether it's with food, with fitness, with staying alive at work, just trying to get your things done and keep that kid's schedule. It's all, and if you're a child, think about keeping up with everything you have to keep up with, the social media. If you don't have Snapchat, if you don't have all this.
I was just going to move into the social media. Because, God bless them.
Yes.
But every day, it's almost like, I appreciate, the selfies. And so I love my people. I love them all. But sometimes you kind of like scroll and like, what message? Like, what do you, like, what, You know, like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. I just,
Well, if you're
it's
always
almost
living
like-
for this, are you living in the moment? Are you
Right.
there?
Yes,
Are you even there?
yes, yes.
So that's why I said the now is this or this, whereas where is the goal? What are we trying? Are you living in alignment with your goal?
Right, okay.
And there's
okay.
that check every
Because
day.
I almost want to, like, pick up the phone.
Yes.
I so many times I'm like, I want to pick up the phone, like, okay, this is the 30th one you've, like, can I help you?
Yes,
I
yes.
really want to do this.
Yes.
And it's not, I don't think anything less of anyone,
No.
but I'm just trying to understand.
And I don't
really
think that
trying
we
to
can, and I don't mean to be mean,
No,
but I
we
think that
can't.
I believe in my heart of hearts that we, kids that were born in the 70s, our generation, we're becoming more health conscious, we're becoming more fitness conscious, and we're putting that into the kids. But the kids, their generation, if they are not doing that, they're odd. They're socially awkward.
Right.
Whereas we're like, why are there 30 selfies and why you keep sending me all this stuff? And they're going from one thing to another. It's at the snap, and we are just trying to take it easy.
Yes.
We're trying to have that 20 minutes in between something else that we have to do.
Exactly.
And that's when we start to really appreciate our authenticity, and when we start to see our authenticity, and that's what they're missing. And it's that and a spiritual component, because I'm connected spiritually.
Absolutely.
I'm a blessed woman, and because I'm so blessed, my job is to bless others.
Yes.
With my gifts, obviously with what I was entrusted with, right? And that's a component that I feel is just missing in our youth.
Okay, so thank you for clearing that up, because sometimes I just feel so uneasy,
No.
and
We're on the same
I
page.
go to bed and I'm like, but why?
Why?
But
Why?
why? It's so sad.
It is very sad.
And I love them. I love each and every one of
they're
them.
amazing. They're amazing individuals.
They're absolutely great. So let's move on to fitness.
Yeah.
You are certified in group fitness. You're certified as a kickboxing instructor, and have been a trainer for over 20 years, as you mentioned earlier. But that also includes being certified in many capacities that are linked to dance and hip hop.
Yes.
So I will throw out this disclaimer out there, because I'm self-proclaimed best 80s dancer.
Oh.
Okay, so this question is really for my benefit. But where does this happen? Where does this dance and this hip hop happen? That's so much fun. Like, that I will sign up for.
Right. So basically, the reason I believe in the versatility is because the goal is to find what moves you, what moves them, what moves this one, what moves that one. And if you're just astringent, like say with, let's just say kickboxing, or you just do weights, then you're limiting the people you can serve. Yeah. So I switch my schedule every 2 months, and I'll put hip hop in with yoga.
Okay.
Or I'll do kickboxing with merengue. Yeah. Or I'll do a boot camp with just reggaeton. Okay. So it's like using different music, applying different genres. Okay. That's a sneaky way to get people in, so I can talk to them. Get in their mind, get their mind right.
Well, that spoke to me. So I was like, oh,
like, ooh, wait,
dance and hip hop. Okay, I can do that. I mean, merengue, you just threw that one, right? And now I'm there.
Now, see, okay.
Now I'm there. Okay. I'm gonna start saying merengue. Oh, now I'm there. So let's move forward today, as we've touched on a little bit. So today you are the founder of Sudor Taino, dedicated to enhance people's individual journey towards health, fitness, and life. First, let's start with Sudor Taino. Of course, I know what each word means in Spanish and where it comes from, but tell me, how did you
put them together?
How did you come up with, marrying those two together? Because when you think about it, and I sat and I, just digested those two words, and I'm thinking, of course.
Right. Pretty magical, right?
Right.
So, sudor obviously means sweat in Spanish, and then Taino were the Taino Indians who settled Puerto Rico, and they cultivated the land with their sweat and tears. Yes. So, to me, during a workout, you sometimes sweat, right? Supposedly, and tears may come out as a product of cultivating your mind and body, which is kind of marrying the two. really lent as a template for life, meaning you have to make a workout a priority or else it's not going to get done. And once you're there, you have to commit to it for it to give you benefits. So the template is the same. You're going through a circumstance in your life. You have to make it a priority to get to a solution. Then you have to commit to seeing it to the end. And then you get the benefits. So to me, I'm teaching them a template that they can take with them. It's not just about the workout. And I scream at them all the time. I say, this is not about the workout. You are a warrior. And out here, it's outside the doors that it makes the most sense. Here it's just practice. That's real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So as you described, the journey is about, once again, health, fitness, and life.
Yes.
Health and fitness, pretty obvious. Tell me about the life component. How do you bring that in and how do you drill that down?
Well, let's go back to what you said, because
Sure.
you said health and fitness is not necessary. It's logical to us now, not logical to many.
Okay.
Meaning that they have never either had either one of those components, and they're coming in brand new. They've never worked out a day in their life, or they did 25 years ago and now they're trying to work out, or they're this 17-year-old that wants to get in shape. So I always tell them this is where it starts. It's your commitment to just getting to the door. Then once you get to the door, now you commit to finishing the workout. Once you finish the workout, now you commit to what you're going to eat outside of here. Once you commit to eating the right things, now you're going to be healthy mind and body so that you can make better decisions, and it just flows from there. So all of it is just like
one feeds off the other.
One thing feeds off the other.
Okay. And then the life component is what you make of it all together, right?
If your mind isn't right and your body's not right, there's no way you can stand in front of a crowd and lead, or if you do, the guilt will kill you because you're being a fake. So that to me is where you make that choice. You make the choice of being healthy mind and body and showing up healthy mind and body.
Yes.
And portraying that.
Beautiful. So tell me, how long have you been in business? Or how long has Sudor Taino been open? And also tell me, why a fitness studio at the time when you decided to invest in a business? Why a fitness studio? What drove you there?
So it became really clear to me, you know, I used to rent space and I taught at this gym, big chain gyms. I've taught almost everywhere I can think of. And my creativity and my authenticity was kind of like they were putting like a cover over it, meaning you can't throw in meditation at the end of your kickboxing workout, or people are complaining because you put dance inside of, you know, a weights class. So it got to the point where I was saying, it's either we rock or we don't. And I just couldn't. I mean, I have very, very supportive people in my life. My husband, my sister. Like, it's a family business, you know. And even the instructors. Actually, all of my instructors were actually my clients, and I've trained them to be instructors. So we call ourselves the tribe, the vibe tribe, because it's just that vibe that is different from everybody else. And you know what? You got to do what works for you. You've got to find what works for you. And I always say to people, you know, if you're doing one genre or another, perfect if it works for you. I have people who just drop in once a month. I have people just come to my special events. I have people that I train personally and come to my classes. So it's really what works for you and what keeps you motivated. And that's kind of the goal, is I consider it a challenge to find what moves you personally.
That's awesome. Very awesome. So now tell me, you may have already run through that.
I run a lot. Yeah. I run through things a lot. You got to stop me.
What are some services, actual services that you provide in the studio, and then what are some services, I think we touched up a little bit on, that you provide outside the studio?
So I don't like overwhelming people, because you know how when you come in they go, you have to buy this, look at all this, and you have to sign up today. So I do encompassing everything under one umbrella. We do special small group training. We do group classes, which are the bigger classes. I do individual one-on-one, which I customize their training. And we have a nutritional program called Operation Drop It, because anything serious is an operation, right? So Operation Drop It. I do guided stretch So we do, just a number of things outside of the studio. I do a lot of things in schools, for corporate, team building for staff. I do a lot of demos and expos and lectures and workshops. And my schedule can get pretty hectic, but at the end of the day, I made a promise to myself that I would try to touch as many lives as possible. So I try not to say no to anything. Don't quote me on that, though.
And now tell us the ultimate question. I'm sure everyone's dying to know.
Oh, boy.
Where are you located?
Okay. So I am located at 635 New Park Avenue in West Hartford.
Okay.
I am very active on Facebook. I do a lot of Facebook Live videos, but I also have a free challenge group which I monitor, and I have hundreds of people in there, and it's just creating a healthy, conscious community. You can belong to any gym or anything like that. Sure. So I do that. I have free YouTube videos, and I have videos on my website as well, and it's www.sudortaino.com.
Okay. Beautiful. And once again, all of your information you can find, as you just mentioned, either directly, but all of the information will be uploaded on the GyrlSense.com
because
website.
Girls Got Sense.
That's right. We just made some GyrlSense, and you're the first one to say it. Yes. You get the prize, actually.
Yay.
So, Karla, you have stated your goal is to be a role model to people of all ages, sizes, and shapes. You certainly have the passion and all the ingredients that it takes to already have provided those goals, have achieved those goals in the past, and you still have those ingredients, mind, body, and soul today. There's so many more individuals out in the world that you will touch, as you've just touched me, and you can expect me in your class.
I'm gonna hold you to that. We gotta roll back this one right here.
I will. Yes. And I'll start with anything merengue.
Oh, okay.
I'll start with anything merengue.
That's easy.
So with that said, thank you so much for coming on the show and joining the GyrlSense family.
All right. Well,
and maybe next time when you come back, we'll do a little demonstration of
perfect.
Just not the exercise, but maybe a little dance too. We'll throw some hip hop in there too.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we can rock that out.
Okay.
And thank you for, it's been a blessing to be here. And again, I hope that all the Windsor community feels our energy because she's amazing. All right, she's amazing. You've got to be with her. She's super amazing. So
thank you
for having me.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm Maria del Carmen, your host. Without you, this show would not be possible. Visit GyrlSense.com for more information about our guest. And of course, join us again for more GyrlSense.